The Senate confirmed President Trump's pick for the Supreme Court today.
Is there any senator who wishes to change his or her vote? If not, on this vote, the ayes are 54, the nays are 45. The nomination of Neil M. Gorsuch of Colorado to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States is confirmed.
That, of course, was Vice President Mike Pence presiding over the vote, which went nearly along party lines. Just 3 Democrats crossed the aisle to vote in favor of the 49-year-old judge from the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. Gorsuch will now fill the Supreme Court seat left vacant by the death of Justice Antonin Scalia, who died more than a year ago. He's expected to be sworn in on Monday. And joining me now is Franco Ordoñez, White House correspondent for McClatchy. Franco, I want to ask you what happens now for Judge Gorsuch moving forward, and when will he start hearing cases?
It could be pretty soon. I mean, he's going to be sworn in, as you said, on Monday. The court has a big meeting on Thursday to go over a long list of cases where they're going to decide which ones to reject, which ones to accept. This could be, he's very eager to get going because there's a lot to be done.
And how do you think Judge Gorsuch's ideology will impact the makeup of the court?
Well, it's definitely going to give, it's going to restore that conservative tilt that was there before Scalia. That's why the Republicans pressed so hard to do this. Mitch McConnell spoke earlier saying how this was possibly one of the most consequential decisions that he made essentially last year, blocking the Merrick Garland decision.
How do you think this confirmation, obviously it was very controversial, going nuclear here, the Senate Republicans invoking that. So how do you think this is going to impact nominations in the future?
You know, it's a great question. I think that is the million-dollar question. I mean, you have a few other justices who are, potentially could be retiring, and this decision to go with the majority as opposed to kind of the 60 votes needed as before, that could be a big deal, because if one of the liberal judges goes next, say Ruth Bader Ginsburg, for example, or Justice Kennedy, there's going to be a big fight for that about who's going to replace that person, and the Democrats and the Republicans are going to fight hard. So this is a big deal.
I want to get your take also, Franco, on the U.S. airstrike in Syria last night. This was President Trump's first major military action. What kind of political gamble do you think this was for him, and was it even a gamble?
It was a political gamble. This opens him up to criticism from the left, not acting with Congress. He has been accused of trying to distract from some of the issues that's kind of been hovering over him, whether it was the Russia meddling, whether it was repealing health care. This is a decision that immediately changes the conversation in Washington. And this kind of action can kind of open him up to criticism that he's trying to flip the script again.
Some say that he should have sought congressional action. We know President Obama went to Congress back in 2013. Mitch McConnell, Ryan, there were several Republicans who actually opposed action in Syria back in 2013. Why do you think they were in favor of this last night?
Well, I mean, they're going to support their president. This is something they need. This is something I think that the party is looking to get on the same page. This is such a dramatic, such a significant, thing to do, to attack another nation. This is the first military attack of Trump. I think they, politically need to get behind the president. And, certainly I'm not saying that they don't also feel it's important. There were a lot of discussions before about this type of attack. And those images that were broadcast, and I'm sure your viewers saw them as well, they were pretty hard to ignore.
Franco, up until last week, the Trump administration had not pushed for Syria for Assad's removal. Do you think this changes the game in the way they approach foreign policy when it comes to Syria with this White House?
It certainly looks that way. I mean, you pointed out earlier that this is not something that Trump indicated that he wanted to do. He actually spoke really about against it. And now he's making a very decisive move. I mean, he's talked about America first. He's talked about not being the America's president, but not the world's president. This kind of America First program, well, maybe it doesn't mean America's only program.
We know that Congress goes into recess starting today, and then when they come back, what should we be watching for?
I think this is going to be something that we'll be watching about. I mean, we'll want to see, is there going to be more talks about, chemical attacks? Is there going to be another attack on Syria? Is the Russia interference question, is that going to be something that we're going to be looking at again? Or is that going to be kind of pushed aside and the focus going to stay on Syria? There's a lot that could happen.
Yeah, we didn't even get time to get to the possible government shutdown next week when they return.
Exactly.
A whole other can of worms. Franco Ordoñez. Thank you, Franco, for joining us.
Thank you.